And take it away. Bob.
Here we go. Call to order and approval of minutes.
I make a motion, Angel.
Second.
Take a vote on that, Bob.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
No visitors?
We have no visitor comments.
Old business.
Old business, I'll start off on budget. So we have entered the budget that we discussed at the last meeting. Again, if there are conversations, I know I noted in the minutes, again, if you have other ideas and such, whether during the budget process or even into the fiscal year, we can seek amendments. I have, and for those in the room, and I'll scan in a page, already the Christmas catalogs are out of ornaments and such like that. So I'm going to be sending around some ideas to you all. Because we would like to order them. We'll do a budget amendment and order them this fiscal year so that we get them in by December if we're going to do ornaments. So they wouldn't be on the budget that goes to the council. It would be a separate action just to add to your budget some money out of your fund balance, which you have plenty of in your savings to replace the ornaments so that we have them in place. So I'll stop there and ask if there's any questions on budget.
Yeah, I got a couple of things. Clear on the gazebo series. How
Yes.
much, what, can you do the numbers again? Because you gave me that check from last year and
How
I'm
much
trying to,
we put into it?
yeah, how much we put in.
Let me find out here.
I'm gonna
Let's,
make a couple of small changes.
sure. Well, let's give you all, we can just go to the screen here. We'll give you all the ability to watch me go find the numbers. So we're gonna go this way. Old Orchard. There you are right there. So we would have probably put that in advertising. December, let's see, that doesn't sound right. That's probably all the times. Let's see amounts here. Oh, my Lord.
I should have served it last time.
I'm trying to remember which account we put it in, folks, so bear with me as we look for that. Is it gonna be professional? No.
I would have thought it would have been advertising.
Right. It wasn't 1,900 though, it was more than that, wasn't it?
He's had a check for 5,400
54.
That was a carryover, but that's what I'm trying to figure out.
He's trying to
That was
figure out,
more than 1 year.
because
or
we
was
didn't
that-
spend the money.
Got
The
it.
year was canceled. Laura said she was gonna do a PO for that. So then we actually should have had 2 years worth when we went to,
Yeah.
And you gave me a check for 5,400. And I'm trying to figure out if that included this year's plus the year we missed.
Okay. All right, let me look for that answer, Bob.
Okay, can I, and then
Yeah,
can I make a couple small changes?
absolutely.
too?
Yeah.
And I don't know where this one comes out, but we still owe Fran about 650 for the last year. Just because we didn't budget properly and she did quite a few more hours.
Okay.
All by her own. And then this year, we want to beat that budget where it should be at 3,000 instead of 2,400 for,
The professional services,
yes. Is that, well, that's Fran's amount is 3,000.
Fran's amount. and-
which I think comes out of advertising.
Oh, comes out, you have a professional services line.
Right, but the gazebo series. is
Oh, the
a
gazebo
separate-
series, sorry, okay, all right.
Yeah,
So you
that's
need 650 more this year that we're in,
correct.
okay, that's
And then-
fine, we've got the money for that.
And then 3,000 for this
Is-
year, that would be,
Instead of
3,000.
2,400
2,400.
for
Got
this
it.
coming up,
Got it.
so,
Okay,
and moving forward, it would be at 3 and then we'll adjust it
Got it.
accordingly to hours.
Got so 3,000 in FY 23 out of advertising. Find it here, advertising 830, it's line 10. Where'd you go? Helps if I turn number lock on. Nope. Okay, highlight that so I know to go back and.
All right, that's all I had on old business. Does gazebo series fall under old business or is that city update or something maybe?
Well, we really can. It's a program you support, but it's, this group sort of is doing it, but it's not the city, so
Oh, okay, well, we just have the dates picked out.
Sure.
Got it working, so,
why,
there's
can we
nothing-
just make sure there's no questions on budget from anyone else
Okay, yeah,
while
sure.
we're, before we pivot away? John, Angel, Steve, any questions on budget?
I'm all set. I'm good.
No,
All right, I'll stop
Okay.
sharing. You can all see each other and go back to Bob now.
Okay, then, I guess we'll move on to parking spaces feedback.
Okay, I think we left this, I'm gonna look at Steve and Rick here, because there were some conversations going on about using the lots, and then also what to do on that piece of old Lockwood, on East Lockwood, excuse me, right in front of the pharmacy and area, and Officer Razul, you're welcome to join this conversation as well. Any feedback, is there any desire for any changes that we recommend to the council about those spaces or not? So I'm gonna turn it back to the members.
Steve?
yeah, I had a couple comments, suggestions when I was looking at it. Like I did talk to the chiropractor next door, like Dr. Lane's office, and the breakfast place. I think the breakfast place would prefer not having a handicap spot right in front of their business, and that's like the only one spot they really have that's like not technically for them, but for them was one thing. The other thing that kind of came up that when I was going through it, I don't know, this is something you guys have to decide. I can't make that call, but since it's just a one way, would it be advantageous to, I don't know if it's even possible, but would it be advantageous just to have parking on one side of the road on a diagonal facing the businesses versus having one way, like parallel parking on both sides of a one-way street?
From an engineering standpoint, Steve, I don't know the answer. If that accommodates more spots, I'm assuming that it would, but I don't know if it'll accommodate everything that's there. I don't believe we have any diagonal parking that I'm aware of. Officer Razul, are you aware of any in town?
No, I don't.
So
Yes.
Go ahead.
As far as the changing the parking spots to like 45-degree, I think it will cause more headache than it will fix the problem. That's just my opinion.
Okay.
Because most of the people that actually park there, they're teenagers. They don't even know how to drive. So to have them to just come in instead of just parking to go back and forth, try to park in the 45-degree angle, I think it's just going to cause more headache than fix the problem. But I do agree with adding maybe one or two more 15-minute parking. That will probably help.
Yeah. Okay. Because I was just wondering, I didn't know if you'd get more parking because, like, when I get there, like today at like 8:30 or 9 o'clock, every parking spot's going to be taken up already on that street. Like, it's already packed. It's going to stay packed like that probably till like 10:30 or 11. Then it kind of gets a little bit better. So I didn't know if businesses would benefit by having additional parking spots. I know the city's always looking, some of our previous conversations before this was how do you get more parking, street parking in Webster Groves. And I don't know, I don't know how much you'd increase it by if you had the diagonal parking, and just one way along that park and then like diagonals along, along the businesses. But like you said, if it's going to cause more problems than it's worth, then forget it.
All right.
But anyhow, yeah, I guess the only place you could really put another handicap would be in front of the other handicap parking spot then. Would be probably the best place. So you'd have two handicap spots in a row or something like that, based on the design right now.
I'm pulling up a map here and I'll share with everyone so you can all see as we look at things. Steve, was there any, in your conversations, any objections to more 15-minute parking like Officer Razul mentioned, or from any of the businesses? Rick, anything from, since you are a major property owner of Webster, in that space, so.
Right, we would welcome the addition of parking for, we talked about COVID testing for the pharmacy
Mhm.
last time. And we're more than happy to accommodate that for up to 2 spaces or whatever we need to look at. Right where your cursor is right now, Eric,
Right there?
in that area, yes.
Everyone can see the map,
Okay,
I
cool.
hope. Angel? Can you see the map? Okay, good.
Steve, do you foresee the testing to continue on as heavy as it has been? I mean, now that it's fading away.
I don't know. That's kind of, right now it's dying down. Will it come back in the fall? I mean, I don't think it's gonna go away. Because I mean, if you're traveling and you're not vaccinated, you have to show proof of testing. Right
Uh-huh.
now, everybody's got the free test at home, but what happens when they run out? Everybody's got a couple tests at home for free right now that, they send out to everybody, but once they're gone, people are still gonna need to get testing in the future. Do you need a permanent spot there? I don't know. The demand kind of was diminished when people could do home testing. But I also don't know, like, what comes up in the fall this year. Like, in the, if there's a new strain or if something changes to where, right now I think it's at the point now where the strain's almost kind of like a flu, right? So people will just test it at home and be done with it if they're negative or positive. But if it's more severe and they want, I kind of foresee happen is that if the treatment becomes a tablet or a pill and we can dispense it based on the result of the testing, then I think the testing becomes more relevant in the near future. I'm not saying I would definitely put in a space right now for it because there's not enough parking as there is. I guess maybe have plans in place if we needed it to convert a space to it in the future. I mean, I'd hate to tie it all up and not have anybody use it. But then again,
Maybe,
I'd hate to not have the ability to have it, if we needed it. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
maybe you can, maybe you give an extra handicap space right now and you convert that one into a COVID testing spot in the future. You know what I mean? And have that, be available if needed. I'm not saying it's needed right now. Having it wouldn't be a bad thing, but
Maybe we could look at just like sandwich boards by the time, if it comes back up, just throw 2 sandwich boards out according to demand.
And let me
yeah,
just
that's
add,
what we did at first. Yeah,
And
we
Steve-
did that. You guys did it at first when we were parking. When I needed 15-minute parking for like curbside pickup and stuff like that. When COVID first started, you guys put some sandwich boards out, and that worked just fine. Of course, then nobody else was actually out there at all. But I don't know. Yeah, I'm open to different ideas. I don't think it's definitely like we're gonna, nobody's gonna get pissed off by not having it right now. Because I mean, but if we did have the spot, we would offer the test. And I don't know. The pandemic's weird right now, right? So, today we might not need it, and a month from now, it could be. I don't know. Maybe it's not any different. Maybe in the fall it's worse. Who knows, right? So it's just hard to tell.
so just for context, Steve and everyone, as we talk, I mean, whatever, Webster, you obviously owns this parking lot. So Steve, with Rick and Webster, we can help facilitate anything, but it's really a private decision, right? If they want to put, some spots in. In relation to the street, which the business district would be, could make a recommendation onto the council. So I heard clearly that the cafe does not want to change to a handicap right out in front of them. Was there any other problems with if we designate? Do you want 2 handicap spots for the purposes of testing, or is there a need for 2 handicap spots? Let me clarify the question.
I think there's a need for 2 handicap spots because if
Okay.
I know like Dr. Lane has a lot of people using that spot for his customers coming into the office, whether
Okay.
they're elderly, but then if that one's filled and if I have somebody that needs it, they don't have a spot to park in.
Mhm.
So,
Got it. So thanks,
definitely
Steve.
2.
Yeah, so if we, and Officer Razul can see this, if we look to the space directly ahead of the handicap spot, which I believe is right in front of the chiropractor, if I'm correct, or maybe in front of you, Steve, these 2 spots, one where this white, where E is, That's
That's
currently
good.
handicap. And then this next one, recommending to handicap. Officer Razul, if we were to add more 15-minute spaces, where would you best suggest them? Is that right here in front of the Starbucks? Is that across the road? Where are those 15-minute type of designations if we wanted to add them?
Right in front of that second handicap
right here?
spot. Yeah,
Right here? And how many of these on this would be the south side of East Lockwood, would you think we need to be at 15 minutes on?
well, that depends, since you're adding another handicap, then if you just add another 15 minutes, because then let me probably drive up there today and kind of see that I can share my opinion. But I mean, either way, I'm probably not gonna hurt to just add the two. But again, pretty much the whole strip is gonna be either handicap or 15 minutes.
Well, that was, Steve, I'm really looking to Steve, John, and Angel. Is there any reason between, this is a 15-minute, I believe, somewhere back in this area, but either way, the south side of the street with 2 handicap spots, is there any reason that this isn't 15-minute parking? Transitory parking? Is there any reason it needs to stay a 2-hour parking zone?
Probably the
Whoa,
breakfast place, but not.
what if you,
I think
what if
that.
you just head along the park, it's 2 hour?
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. The park is, leave the park at 2 hours, and then the south side
Yeah.
here is 15 minutes and handicap.
I think from the standpoint of Starbucks, that's a great idea, and running into Subway to pick up your sandwich, good idea. Probably same thing going into Steve's to pick things up or what. I think that sounds smart.
I agree with Angel and everyone here on this one. I'll use that strip pretty much to run into Steve's, run into Subway, or run into to get a coffee at Starbucks. So I think it's the same thing. Most people on that side of the street are just wanting a spot to stop and run out. So I'm in agreement there.
And I'm just gonna pivot back now to Rick on it. Maybe you don't know. I'm assuming since the boardwalk is in your building, that they have access to use this parking lot,
They
their
do.
customers, okay.
They
so-
do. And I was looking at this, I believe the 2 spots right in front of Starbucks on the parking lot are handicapped, if memory serves.
Right here,
Right, those 2 empty spaces.
right. These ones are their mobile order pickup,
Okay,
so.
so we can always put additional handicap up on those spaces facing Lockwood. I mean, the majority of the handicap are in the center aisle right here.
I will add,
Like,
can
right-
add-
We can
like-
reconfigure.
Like here's just an observation, like right now, like I'm just getting into the pharmacy now, and the handicap's already filled, and pretty much every spot in front of that Starbucks on this side of the street's already full. Like, so
Mhm.
once we open, there's no additional parking for anybody to pull up to the pharmacy
so
or the
I would-
chiropractor or breakfast. So
I'd like to add in there, be thinking about the Boardwalk Cafe here. They rented and leased that space 10 years ago, 15 years ago, knowing how the conditions of the street were and how the parking was. When we go in and we change this, because personally, I don't use it, right? I go in and I go to the pharmacy a lot. I go to
Yeah.
Starbucks a lot, and I go to Subway a lot. And all I want is 10 minutes in and out. But the change, that's not me thinking about the boardwalk. And the boardwalk, they leased that space with these conditions. And now we're changing those conditions on them. And that will affect their
I know.
business if we change it. Steve also rented this space with those conditions. And we're changing to benefit him, but we are harming another business. And we're changing, government is coming in and changing something of how it was. Like, so I believe we need to adapt. One spot is good, but taking 10 away from them could affect their customer business. And I don't think we want that either. So I'm just playing devil's
But-
advocate help there.
Do they have
That's
particular
fair.
hours? The cafe? I mean, is it
yeah,
short?
they're like,
Two.
they close at around 2, I
Yeah.
think. Like they're not open after 2 o'clock. Because and John's right. I mean, when I took the spot to move my pharmacy here, I did understand that the parking was going to be a concern. Just to be fair too. So I definitely don't want to do anything to harm the business. Maybe 15 minutes might be too short. I mean, could you do 30? versus 2 hours? Could you do 1 hour? I don't know. Maybe is there a happy
And-
medium?
Maybe it's just not take the full street. Maybe it's just the first few, or add an extra handicap and then what is there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 other additional spots. And maybe you take the first 3 to be 15 minutes, leaving the other, what's left closer to them to be still to be 2 hours.
Also, maybe there's an opportunity for the landlord to do something for the tenant who's struggling, right? The landlord here is the one who rented to Steve. And maybe maybe they can designate some closer parking spots for Steve for his use if his business is struggling, or maybe they can designate some for the boardwalk or something like that to find a way to help them out. Just my 2 cents again. And the landlord here, he's on the meeting with us, right?
Right, yeah, but.
Lisa's might not be his area, but.
So, right, so the conversation would be, okay, boardwalk gets 2 spaces, the farming gets 2 spaces, the chiropractor, you know. So then we're reserving half the parking lot for businesses. Identifying particular spaces for that particular business. And that's not really the business we're in.
I'm used to parking sometimes right in the middle of the parking lot. And those days I'm like, oh, I didn't get a good spot. And then I walk in, but I'm not handicapped. I'm not older. So I don't really know how to say. And it's really not I'm just giving my opinion on if we take spots from the boardwalk and give them to Steve, then we're harming the boardwalk to help Steve. I mean, I
Correct.
don't know
Yeah.
about the boardwalk and I know Steve and I like Steve and I want to help Steve, but I think we got to keep that in mind for a boardwalk.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. Yeah, I definitely don't want to harm the boardwalk by any means. You know, with their, you know, because like they're done at 2 o'clock, and I tell my customers sometimes parking sucks before 12 o'clock here. You know, but we also offer free delivery in Webster Grove, so we have ways around that too. So my biggest concern was the handicap space, and then if needed in the future, COVID testing, because we were not able to do any COVID testing.
Well, Steve, I
That's a
think
good point.
COVID testing, I think we can accommodate when that need arises, right? I mean, between the city
Okay.
and Webster, we'll figure that piece out. I think it's really
Okay.
where we're at is, you know, does this body want to recommend to the council the second handicap space that I'm hovering over? And then is there any desire to recommend any 15-minute or other, this is all 2 hour other than the it's all 2 hour on this whole street, other than the 1 15-minute spot. Do we want any further 15-minute parking? And so, I mean, like I could easily split the difference right here and take these next 2 spots for 15 minutes and just boom, this little piece right here, these 5, you know, there's 3 15-minute spots there, but that's really, you know, your all call. So.
Hey, Steve, have you talked to Boardwalk?
Yeah, a little bit, and they were definitely not opposed. I mean, I didn't tell them about the 15-minute parking yet, so I'd like to have that talk with them, because I mean, maybe there is an increment that would help them if parking was available depending on how fast people get in and out of there. I mean, maybe there is an increment smaller than 2 hours that would actually benefit them, right? Because like
I
if you
think-
could get cars in and out, you know,
I would-
every hour, maybe that helps them. Maybe people aren't, it's, you know, maybe they need to get people in and out faster to get more people in and out faster for generate more revenue. I don't know. I guess so. Let me have that conversation with them before we pick like an increment, or like I said, I'm definitely not trying to steal spots from them. That wasn't my goal. My intention really was just get a second handicap spot. So I mean, you can do that without changing any of the hour increments right now.
So then should we just make a motion to add 1 more handicap spot to that spot? And then we can research the other piece?
I'd say let's wait for
I-
Steve to talk to Boardwalk, because they
Let
might.
me talk to Boardwalk first.
They might benefit from 15 minutes for people. They do a lot more carry out now since COVID. I get carry out there quite often. So I think, Steve, if you talk to them, we'll bring it up next meeting, just because.
Yeah, let me talk
Being
to
fair
them
to
and
get their
even see if
input.
they.
too.
Yeah, and would it be would it be okay to even invite them to this meeting next month
Sure.
just to get their opinion? Like I said, I'm not
Yeah.
trying to. I don't want to take their space from them. I mean, that's not.
Yeah.
You know, I don't want to take anything away from them at all. You know, so But I'll have a
But-
conversation with them before we do any motions, because I guess that really the biggest thing is how does it affect them, in long term, and I don't want that to harm their business at all.
All
But
right,
maybe
well,
there's a way to help them with it too. So
sounds good. Okay.
You want to do gazebo?
Sure, gazebo, what was the date?
Let me look,
September,
see if I have it.
we set some dates for gazebo series. We're gonna go back to the fall like last year. They start the end of September, correct? Like, I think,
August,
Oh, end of August.
August 19th is the first one and goes to September 23rd.
So we have the dates. Dale, who does our bookings, is working on a couple bands, and then we'll probably all try to sit together and have a meeting, just to toss out more ideas on bands and Fran and I were talking about inviting any of the merchants around there to set up tables, or, again, this year we'll probably set up again across the street with a beer tent and do more carry out. We weren't staffed up for it last year, but just kind of some of the ideas of tossing around to everybody to see if they can, want to be a little more involved and type of thing. So we're ahead of the game. We've got the dates. I think the fall, everybody agreed it was a little better temperatures and weather. So we're ahead of game on that. If anybody has any input further, just feel free to jump in there.
Just real quick, I am assuming that, given that this organization supports the gazebo series, you do not need me to schedule Fran to come talk to you about the gazebo series special activity permit. You all agree to do this, so
Yeah.
I've not put it on the agenda, so, but if anyone has an objection, let me know.
Because I have submitted the permit already. As soon as we had the dates, I sent them up. So if we need to make adjustments to that, we could do that too, but I don't think that we'll need it, because it's got things that we didn't use last year. I just went ahead and put them in there.
That's all we really have on that.
Okay.
So,
So just one little piece of old business I wanted to check. John, I know you were on the email with the owner of Strive. Did they connect and estimate?
He has not followed up with me yet, so now I kind of feel your pain.
Okay,
Hey, John, which Strive are you talking to?
Tom,
I got a meeting with them at 10 o'clock this morning at our Afton building. I'll bring it up to him.
yeah,
I think it's Tom that's coming.
the whole south side of the streets lights have been out since mid-November.
I'll be opening it.
We're going on- Is that December, January, February, March? We're going on 4 months, and
Okay.
Eric's been working at it, but we're not. He hasn't been getting any follow-up either. So
All right, I'll ambush him at 10 this morning and say, where you been?
and I'll probably. I was just getting ready to shoot him an email too, so I'll follow up with him, and I'm just trying to walk that line of how pestery to be. But does anybody have any advice on? I guess I'll just wait for Terry.
be pestery, so.
Yeah.
Be pestery.
I'm meeting him this morning, like I said, so I'll bring it up and see where they are with it, because face to face, and he's trying to get business, so maybe that will help. So,
Perfect.
And just on that, on lighting, is there any other businesses that you're aware of? The south side, obviously, is there any other repairs that we know of?
not on repairs. John and I are talking about doing an addition to the alley.
Right,
Our
no,
building,
yes.
but besides that, I don't know about repairs on our side.
Angel, anything on your buildings or?
I'll be nosier. We talked about at one point finishing the other side of it. Because of the way we're set up on that corner. And so let me pay attention at night. When I leave, I'm like out of there, but I'll look.
Okay,
Get
well,
back.
and Angel, I'm happy. I mean, we have held open the PO to do the buildings and such in Old Orchard. So I mean, if the group
Okay.
wants to finish it, I mean, I can, same thing with Tom, we need an estimator and get down there. They're supposed to be doing the same with Olive and Oak for Old Webster. So,
Okay,
so if the
I'll-
group wants to do that, I'm happy to do it. So,
Okay.
okay, thank you.
so just let me know, Angel, what spaces aren't, what sides aren't lit up, and I can put it all in an email and copy you, and so that he can connect with you as well.
Okay, and I guess also we have to think about the old cleaners building.
Right, are you
So-
keeping that up? Is that the plan? I'm just,
Yeah,
that-
we,
okay.
there'll be a veterinary reference lab that's going in there. It won't be shoppable or anything to the public, but it's being moved, so it's ours, so it's where our reference lab then for all of our lab will be done.
okay,
So yes, that'll, I know there's gonna have to be some construction on that roof and targeting probably July. So I'm sure you guys will all see the paperwork and all that stuff come through, but so it probably won't be till later to actually for them to get up there. Because there's no heating or air conditioning in that building from previous. So all
right,
those things have to be done because obvious reasons and a cleaners, so. But yeah, we'll put that for future, just FYI.
okay. That's all I had.
That's all for old business.
Yep.
New business.
We don't have any unless there's some new business that folks have.
BDC update.
The BDC, I'll quick share my screen again. We've got a couple items from BDC Type of World that I want you all to know about. One is the survey is out. So let me, if you did not get this email with the link to the survey, the BDC is inquiring of all the business owners. Let me move this out of the way. Of the status of their businesses and what we can do to help. So this survey is out. It is on the Business Roundtable page. So that is in the administration page of the city. The website, I'll send this link out, but you just go down and click there. For the business survey, I've been really surprised at the amount of responses already, which is great. A lot of our contractors are on this too, people who do business with the city to do construction and such. But we do definitely want to hear from the business community about those needs and such. The survey is ultimately, it's 60 questions. You don't have to answer them all. Some of them you may not know, but it's been helpful for us, right? So we have a lot of businesses. We ask things like, what's your target market? And a lot of businesses come back and say, well, I don't know what my target market is. And that's a helpful place for the city, right? If a business is operating without a target market, how can we help build basic business coaching, business plan type services to help in that? So the BDC has that website, that survey open. And then also the American Rescue Plan, since this came a little bit through the BDC, I'm just going to mention this, the Balancing Act, which is the data input tool we used for the 4.6 million. The results are posted. So if you just go to webstergroves.org/ARP, we'll get you to the same website. You can see the responses that people gave, both categorically, the individual submissions, and also all the comments. We had a great response there, 132 submissions in that 45 days, which is awesome for Webster Groves. I mean, that's, our budget hearings, if we get one person, we consider that a very active hearing on the budget. So that's really good to have that kind of, input from the city and our constituents and businesses as well. So that is the BDC update. Fran, anything I missed?
Nope.
All right.
All right. City update.
I don't know why I stopped sharing because I'm just going to show you more screens. So let me go back to this, just from the city, a couple quick things. Prop U, which is the local online sales tax, the local use tax. We have the new webpage up on the city website. You can access it right from the front, questions and answers about that. You'll start to see yard signs and mailings from the city soon. So again, for all of our businesses, this is a local impact to help balance the playing field for local businesses in terms of online sales tax. For all of you that are service providers, I just want to be very clear. Anything that's not taxed by sales tax is not included in the use tax. So this isn't picking up advertising or vet services angel as a taxable use. So these are about online goods purchased from out-of-state corporations. And then also in April, we have, as we talked about, I think the last meeting was still titled Prop C about the Charter Review Board. Well, the county had Prop C, which is the county's online use tax. They made it Prop C. So we did not want to confuse people. So we changed the proposition lettering for the Charter Review Board to Prop W. So you're going to have Prop U and Prop W from Webster. And this is about, again, should there be that committee that meets to make recommendations to change the charter of the city. So that webpage is up as well. We'll provide all these links to you. And then finally, before I turn it over to Councilman Smith, We do have a couple new businesses that have a flat, these are new business licenses. Kate and Company over on East Lockwood. I believe it's, now that I say that, I can't remember what the business is regarding, but Kate and Company, Head Case Hairpay, and Casey Building Group are all the new ones, new business licenses that have been applied for. A couple of those may be home-based businesses as well, but they are moving into the area. So we obviously wanted to report those to you. So I will turn to Councilmember Smith and then Officer Razul, if there's any other city updates.
No, sir, I don't have anything.
Thank you, Eric. I just want to drop a suggestion to this commission that was shared with me. Just trying to build business in the business district. I have actually a friend in not San Francisco, Sacramento, that they did something similar. Have we ever tried doing like a punch card with all the businesses on there? And if they go to every business and get their card punched or initialed, they can be entered into some type of prize just to create foot traffic in that area. So give it some thought. I mean, they said it was very successful for them. You know, it wasn't nothing elaborate as far as the prize, but it did increase the foot traffic, got the people in the door. They did not have to buy anything, but the residual from that is that the residents, I wish I could think of this small town in California. It's right outside of Sacramento, but they, you know, their foot traffic increased because the patrons and the residents was able to see what services they offer or what products they offer in that area. So that's just wanted to pass that on. Other than that, Eric, I have nothing.
Thanks, Councilmember. That's our city update, Bob.
All right. And,
Can I ask a question? I'm just being nosy about the old Subaru spot. Any updates on that?
I have lots of updates, none which I can give you.
Okay, that's fair. I figure you probably would have, but considering its proximity, I just being nosy.
All right, so any other things for city update? We're all good? All right, then set the next meeting for April 12th. Did we vote on that?
Nope.
Nope,
That's-
okay,
that's
then,
awesome.
I have a
Motion.
reminder
okay, reminder.
to get vacancies filled. We got 2 vacancies we need to fill in the commission. Go out and talk to your business people. So we don't do what we did this morning, sitting here waiting.
John, please come on so we can be at a meeting. So, no, we do have 2 vacancies. It's and it's very simple for folks to apply. It's right under the boards and commissions, just apply and there's a form. So if you talk to business owners or property owners in the district, that's what we're looking for.
And motion to adjourn.
It's Angel, I'll make a motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
There we go. Thank you all.
Thank you.